think I should probably start this video by saying this is definitely not the video we were hoping to make. We have not been on YouTube for now, I don't know, 6 weeks, something like that. And that is because we are not on the road. Our plans for a big road trip down south into Europe, it's just not going to happen because we're currently stuck on my parents' farmhouse and we're having quite a list of problems with the van, and that list seems to be growing by the day. And to be honest, just didn't have the space to record all this stuff. And we didn't want to make another video about fixing the van. Just thought you guys would be bored of it. Yeah, it's not ideal, this. So before I tell you where we are at the moment in terms of issues with the van, I want to take you back. I want to take you back about 2 months ago to when we were still on the Ardnamurchan and we're actually just leaving the Ardnamurchan. Rox had already left to come to my parents' house because the car needed an MOT and I had to finish at work. Anyway, when I jumped in the van to leave work, it was obvious there was something wrong with the van. It wouldn't start. And if I could get it started, it would be very sluggish and then it would automatically die. In the morning, with a fresh head, I decided, I'll have a look at it. Footed about in the van for a wee bit. Didn't really find anything obvious, but I did manage to get the van started and it remained on, right? So that was enough for me to get the van from the Ardnamurchan way up in the Highlands all the way south to my parents in Ayrshire. I just didn't stop. The problem is if I stopped the engine, it wouldn't restart. But anyway, got it home, as you can see behind me. And that's, I guess, where the problems just begun. We had to get the van an MOT before we hit the road on our big European road trip that we had planned. And we knew there was going to be a few issues with the van and we weren't sure if the MOT would pass. So first thing we'd done was we done a whole bunch of work on the van before the MOT. We sorted out our solar panels so that they could angle up and we could catch more solar, particularly in the winter, which was great, really good thing to tick off. We discovered we had bald tyres on the front of the van, so we replaced the 2 front tyres. We had a dodgy reversing light, easy fix, it was done. There was a whole bunch of things, we ticked them off. One thing we weren't sure about is that there's an ABS warning light on the van, but we thought, it's passed with warning lights before, so we'll send it in. Sadly, the van failed its MOT on a whole bunch of other things besides the problems I just listed. So that's pretty much where we are now. We're trying to fix all these bits and bobs, and as I said, it's growing arms and legs. All I can say now is I absolutely hate working on vehicles. I'm getting better at it, but I hate it. So the van failing its MOT wasn't actually all bad because there was some serious things that the MOT pulled up. I'll just tell you what was essentially wrong. It said the parking brake, so our handbrake was insufficient, which is strange because I can tell you we fixed the handbrake before the MOT. That was one of the things we done, and the handbrake has never worked as well in its life. Anyway, it still wasn't 100%, so we bought some new brake cables and I fixed that maybe last week. So it's working damn good now, so that'll definitely be a problem scored right off the list. ABS came up, still thinking about how I can possibly fix that. All the sensors visually look okay and I don't really know how to test it otherwise, but I think we'll phone someone to help us with that. Engine management light, that's the issue I'm working on right now. Nightmare of a job. Side lights not working, simple-ish fix. I've kind of already done that. Now, a big thing that we'd never noticed before the MOT, and we're glad it pulled up, was that the bottom ball joints on both front wheels were absolutely goosed, done, So that is a really positive thing. We actually needed to get that fixed. So my dad and my sister's dog gave us a hand and we managed to get them replaced. They weren't the easiest to replace because a lot of the bolts were super seized. So we put a bit of heat on it, and when we managed to get them off. So nothing too drastic. Nothing saying that the van is absolutely goosed, but the two problems that we had to sort, which we knew would be the most difficult, would be the ABS and the engine management line, because they are really hard to diagnose. It's really hard to actually find out exactly what's causing those faults. This is the thing that's grown arms and legs, and this is the thing why I want to just bash my head off the van, or take a match and light our lovely van on fire. We're getting there. That's probably why I have the space to make the video now, because I think I know what I'm doing. Kinda. Well, I'll quickly just show you what I'm working on at the moment. It feels like I've been working on this issue for the last 2 weeks. All to do with that engine management light. We suspect it's to do, or we did suspect it was to do with our EGR valve, if anyone knows what that is. I didn't. It's essentially, it's just a valve that recycles exhaust fumes back into the engine. It's a kind of environmental thing, and it just helps the engine run sweeter. We plugged in a computer to the van, and it seemed to flag up that this was the issue, which kind of made sense. These things clog up with exhaust fumes if the van isn't, driving all the time. Maybe if it's sitting idle, which we're always doing, try to charge up our crappy batteries. So that made perfect sense that would be the problem. The real issue we had was actually getting the damn thing out, and let me just show you what I mean. So I'll just show you what an EGR valve looks like, because I bought a new one. This is an EGR valve. Obviously this one's very shiny and new. That's put snugly into the engine, but the bolts that hold it in are kind of crap. The steel bolts going into an aluminium thing, not a very good idea. They seized, and when we were trying to take it out, one of those bolts seized, and even when we loosened off the other bolts, there was no way this thing was coming out, which meant that we had to go to quite drastic actions, and we had to absolutely obliterate the hell out of the old one. So yeah, this is the new one. Our current one does not. Our old one does not look like this. That's because our old one looks like this. It's in a million billion pieces. We had to batter the absolute hell out of this in the engine with a hammer and chisel. We had to chop bits off it. It was an absolute nightmare, and for that reason I did not video any of that process. And you think, we've bashed this out, we've got out the old worn, we've got out the old nuts that were refusing to come out. You think that would be problem solved. No. Because in the process of breaking this thing out, we've broken something else. And that something else is this thing here, which is called an EGR cooler, which essentially cools down exhaust fumes as it passes through this, so that the exhaust fumes come in here, pass through here, and then come into the EGR valve here, where they can be recycled. So that's just cooling them down, because as you'd imagine, exhaust fumes are very hot. From this pipe to this pipe, there is, I'm guessing, some kind of coil or something that the water passes through. Now my suspicion, the reason I think this is broken, is that when this is pressurised, coolant drips out of here, which you shouldn't do. It should all come out of this pipe here. It is a problem that these things can have. So I have ordered another one of these up. I'm just waiting for that to arrive. I can stick the AGR valve onto this, reinstall it into the engine, and pray that the engine management light goes out, and that is the biggest problem ticked off the list. The only issue with all these bits and bobs, these parts, is they cost money. And all this time fixing the van is eating a big hole in our finances, and that is the main reason that we are probably not going to go travelling. But it's just something that happens. If you live in a van, you should expect these kind of issues to crop up. It's not fun when it happens, but I guess we learn from these things. Time to make the most of this gorgeous day. So, progress has been made, as you can see. We have finally managed to get the van out of that shed. We have got the engine started. We have changed the EGR valve and the EGR cooler. The problems aren't over yet, but the fact we can actually start the engine is amazing progress. It also means we can obviously get outside and try and make the most of this rare little bit of sunshine and make the most of our new solar setup. We still have, I would say, really just one last thing to tick off before we can get this van down the road, get its MOT, and then hit the road to go back to work. But in the order market, which is a good thing, but I shall explain all. So I think the first thing I should start by showing you is our Swexy new AGR cooler slash AGR valve, which I can tell you was the biggest bane of my life for the last couple of weeks. Okay, it's not very much to look at, but I can't tell you how much joy it brings me to see it in there and it not to be leaking and it actually to be working. It's almost working, it's not completely finished, but that bit's done, dusted, and I think it needed done all along anyway, so yeah, very, very happy man. One other success story is our ABS light. I will not bore you with all the details about how we fixed it. It's essentially a broken wire, but it's fixed. And another beautiful thing to look at is when we flick this on, the ABS light comes on and then it just disappears. Very, very satisfying. Very satisfying. And that one last problem we have to deal with is related to the lights on the dash, and that's our engine management light. This is the thing we thought was all related to the AGR valve, and it is related to the AGR valve, but my suspicion is it's nothing to do with anything I've already fixed, annoyingly. But the good thing is, we're 90% sure we know what it is, and it's something called an EGR solenoid?
Solenoid, yeah.
So, this is an EGR solenoid. Well, at least I'm 90% sure is that this is broken. And if this is broken, there's a good chance it's the reason why that engine management light is coming on. So, we're praying, we're hoping that when we get our new bit delivered, it'll be a simple job of plugging it in, plugging the pipes that connect to the EGR valve, turning the engine on and hoping that that engine management light stays off. You can probably tell I'm a little bit more optimistic. I just got a good feeling about it now. I feel like we've done everything we could possibly have done to try and resolve all the issues, and we are literally just hopefully one step away from getting this van MOT'd and back on the road, because I kind of miss being in the van. I miss staying in the van and I miss having the freedom that having a van brings us. Look what we have here. Very exciting. This literally just got delivered. We were just working away, kind of getting the van ready to live in, and yeah, the wee solenoid that we've been waiting for has finally come. We weren't expecting it today. It could have been like 4 days from now, but yeah, all that's left to do is to kind of plug it in and hope that that light goes off. But yeah, wait till you see the van. The van looks really nice. It's like a new home after all the work today. So I've got some new vacuum pipe for it, and it just plugs in here. There we go. That's it all plugged in. I'm not going to attach it right now. I just want to first check and see if it actually works. Fingers crossed. It might not go out.
It might not go out.
It might go out. Let's see. Still on. We've had the van running for about 10 minutes now, and we tried it. You know, we actually tried taking off the solenoid, taking it into the shed and kind of wiring it up to a car battery, and the thinking that if you do that, because it's a solenoid, you would expect to hear, I don't know, a click or something. At least evidence that it's actually doing something, and there's zero evidence of that. So we think they've sent us a duff part, which is, yeah, a bit annoying, because they're not the quickest at sending out things, so Rock's currently emailing them to see if they can send us a part out quickly, but it doesn't matter even if they work quickly because I need to go back to work next week, so that means they'll deliver the part and we're just going to have to rely on my dad once again to fit the new part and just hope that solves the problem, because in like 2 weeks we need to go back up to the Ardnamurchan and we need the van because it is our home. But yeah, it's just so frustrating. I suppose one thing I can do, because we can't do anything else, I can show you what Rox has done on the back of the van. You know, put some positivity into this video.
Hello there. As you can see, I am still here. I am still very much alive, and I spent the last 3 months fixing things up in the van, but inside. So I built extra storage in a few different places. I don't know if you guys remember, but between the couch and the stove, it was just like a dead space. So I built this storage with upcycled wood, which took definitely a few attempts. I was feeling a bit rusty with building things. I added a few shelves just above the sink, and then also built kind of like a door for a storage underneath the office, because it was open and it was always really messy. If we were driving, things would fall out. So yeah, just something really simple. It doesn't really matter because you can't really see the door anyway, but well, it's already a mess.
Just full of more junk.
Pretty much. But yeah, nice and handmade, using some hessian. And to be honest, I think the hardest part was just really gutting the place out. Everything was so dirty. It's actually really embarrassing how dirty everything was. So I gave it a new coat of
Wood stain,
and also repainted these doors that we made 4 years ago. And it just feels a lot cleaner, a lot nicer.
Feels more like home again.
Yeah, exactly. So we're pretty much need to clean the place again. But yeah, we're almost ready to go.
So I think that is probably about time we should finish this video.
I think so.
I feel like we've been shooting this video for weeks, if not months, and our kind of original plan was to wait and get the MOT done so we can go, yay, we're finishing the high. But nah, we're not going to do that because that'd just be another week or two of shooting. Plus we have places to be. I am driving to Edinburgh to go and stay with Daniel and Laura. You're heading for a wee break to the caravan.
Yeah, Dumfries and Galloway.
Yeah, get away from all the van.
Yeah.
The van stuff, and yeah, we'll just leave it here.
Thank you so much for being so patient with us. We didn't mean to ghost anyone. We didn't mean to disappear for like 3 months.
I mean, appreciate all the comments. We got a lot of messages. Where are you guys?
Yeah, we're still alive. We're good guys. Just yeah, all the fun stuff. But yeah, thank you so much to your parents.
Big thank you to both of them. Particularly my dad for stressing over the van, and he's still going to stress over the van, no doubt, next week. Uncle Jim Jam helped us out early on the wheels and stuff. John, big thank you to you for coming up, I think 3 times to plug your little computer and to do the diagnostics on the van. It's just all these little things.
Absolutely.
Just super helpful. We're very lucky to have.
And your mom.
Oh yeah.
She let us stay here for 3 months. I mean, this woman has the patience of
a saint.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
she'll be happy for us to toddle off in the van. She's probably desperate for the van to pass its MOT as well.
Cool.
Shall we?
Bye.
Oh, high five. Bye guys. And we should just walk off the camera.
Okay, sorry.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.
That's fine.